Presiden Ukraina Volodymyr Zelensky menyinggung adanya isu internal dengan Polandia di tengah meningkatnya ketegangan diplomatik terkait keputusan penamaan unit militer Ukraina yang memicu kontroversi di kawasan Eropa.
And then with Poland, you are currently embroiled in a very bitter dispute with Poland over your decision to rename one of your military units. The Polish defense minister even said that your decision could lead to the blockage of accession process. So how do you intend to convince Peter Magyar to leave his reservations? How do you intend to bring down tensions with Poland before it spirals out of control? And for the Taoiseach, what do you make of the fact that bilateral disputes could derail a policy that is one of your top priorities for the presidency? Thank you both.
Thank you so much for your question. So first of all, we count on all the countries on unanimity of EU to open all the classes from our side. We did everything what the Council, what all the leaders asked us to do. Even with some difficulties with Orban government, we did everything. So I hope that Peter Magyar will support, and I hope that also Poland government will support. I think it's important when we all have rules, not, I mean, it's just, political emotions, and they said we have rules in EU. We have to do what we have to do. So and that's why, be honest, yes, we did everything what was in agenda for opening clusters. The second point, look, it was not simple for us to do all these issues during the war, and I think this is also an important moment that we are saving and defending not only Ukraine, of course, first of all, Ukraine, yes, but also other countries of Europe, and I think it's important, it's in interest of all the countries to have Ukraine in EU as quick as possible. So this is what I think, and we have some internal questions. What you asked about the Poland and Polish government, we are neighbors, and I'm sure, of course, we had difficulties in our history, but mostly countries in Europe had difficulties in the past, but we live now. Now we have one aggressor, and now we have unanimity, and we are defending EU, and we have to think about security for our people for the future. And that's why I think that questions always will find answers if we are ready to be strong neighbors and if we are ready to find answers. So Ukraine is ready. Ukraine, I think, is a strong partner and a good friend for our neighbors. I hope that our neighbors will support. By the way, we had the Conference of Reconstruction in Gdańsk, in Poland, the native city of President, both, and Prime Minister of Poland. So we had the conversation on the level of Prime Ministers. They opened this conference. Thousands of people been there. Business, and it's also in the interest of Polish business, I know, to come with other partners, with other businesses, including Irish business to come after this war will end for reconstruction is good. It's win-win. So I hope that we have more things in the future than in the past.
Taoiseach, you said in your speech there that Ireland will do everything it can to make sure Ukraine has the military aid that it needs. Is that a change in policy away from Ireland providing only non-lethal when you combine it with that offer that was made to provide armoured combat vehicles? I asked you this earlier, you didn't really answer the substantive point. Is that not overstepping the line of neutrality if we're getting into providing equipment which could be lethal? A simple question, let's come in if that's all right. President Zelensky, perhaps you might answer why it was Ukraine didn't take up that offer and said no to those combat vehicles. And also, while Ireland has said that it will support Ukraine, some 16,000 Ukrainians here face the end of their state-sponsored accommodation in August. Did you discuss that with the Taoiseach, and are you concerned about what will happen to those citizens who have fled the war and come to Ireland?
I think your question earlier was about specific trucks, which I don't believe were lethal. And I would make the point that all of our aid so far has been non-lethal. That's Ireland. But we're now talking in the context of the EU presidency. And Europe will do everything it possibly can. And that's the context in which I am now speaking on behalf of the presidency of the European Union. And Ireland's aid remains non-lethal, humanitarian as well. And also through Denmark and Lithuania, we've had joint procurement in respect of a range of equipment and demining and defensive equipment that has been sent to Ukraine and paid for through Irish funds.
Jelajahi cara baru mendapatkan informasi. Download Metro TV Extend sekarang.